You know it. Why tell the story? Why tell the whole damn world? This is bad territory. You know it. Why tell the story? Why tell the whole damn world? This is bad territory. You know it. Why tell the story? Why tell the whole damn world? This is bad territory.
What a great way to lead into today's episode. That was the scene late Saturday night from the Cal locker room after our Golden Bears beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers from the Big Ten 27-14 on national TV. If you're like me, I'm willing to bet you're still grinning and feeling ecstatic about that win. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World in our special football recap episode. It's Monday, September 15th, 2025. Our Golden Bears are now 3-0 after that glorious and hard-fought victory at Memorial Stadium, and it's another great day to be a Bear. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Reza Sirafinejad. I'm not going to keep you waiting long because I know you're all chomping at the bit to hear what we have to say about the game. But very quickly, let me tell you a little about us and what we're all about. We're the podcast that celebrates all things Cal and the prominent people associated with UC Berkeley, known to many as the center of the universe. We hope to put a smile on your face and help you come away feeling good about your connection to the greatest university on the planet. Please tell all your Cal friends about us. You can share us on social media, and you can always find our latest YouTube videos posted directly to our website at tellthewholedamnworld.com. And for all you Cal history fans who are longing for more of Leslie Mitchell, give us a follow on X at Win4Cal. That's Win, the number 4, Cal. We're going to post links there so you can see some of our earlier Cal history segments we did back before we broke them out into standalone episodes. We did some great ones with Julia Morgan, Walter Gordon, Archie Williams, and Douglas Engelbart, the man who invented network computers and the computer mouse. Okay, let's get right into it with two Cal Hall of Famers. My co-host, Ahmad Anderson, the man who created Bear Territory and also happens to be running for mayor of Richmond, and legendary Cal linebacker David Ortega, the all-time leading tackler in Cal history. Thanks so much for making the time today, guys. We appreciate you being here.
Love being here. Great place to be.
And how about that game last night? I mean, what an electric atmosphere, right? To be on ESPN and the gold out, everyone all decked out in gold to watch that game. And, you know, Minnesota, I want to just kind of set the stage a little bit so everyone has a deeper appreciation of that victory last night. Minnesota is going to be pretty good this year in the Big Ten. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. They came into last night's game ranked number 1 in the country in total defense, allowing only 96.5 yards per game. They led the country in passing yards allowed at only 65 yards per game. First downs allowed at only 5, and they'd only allowed 2 touchdowns all season. And given it's only 2 games leading into last night's game. But still, I mean, there's no question, especially also with PJ Fleck, who, you know, has quite a reputation as a great head coach. Apparently, I didn't realize this, that he has not lost to any team from California since being the head coach at Minnesota. He's 4-0 against USC, UCLA, Fresno State. So they are a well-coached, physical team. And we knew going in that this was going to be our biggest challenge of the young season.
I agree. And I thought it was a very well-coached team. I thought they played hard, and they made plays, and we made more plays. And that actually was evident. The quarterback played well. We somehow got a second boost when the running game started chugging along in the fourth quarter. I thought that was spectacular for ending the game that way. We could hold on to the ball and run it, and our line was not tired. I assume they were, but still battled and got after them at the fourth quarter.
Well, look, just like Gophers in some of our yards, you do what you can to prevent, you make adjustments. They kept popping up. Pushing back. They had an impact on our run game in the beginning of the game. I just couldn't get started. And fortunately for us, you know what, Jaron, 3 TDs, 0 turnovers, uh, continues to impress me, and every defensive coordinator we played against thus far is impressed, and that continues to be the story, and it's our story, and we're glad to have him, and, I love the fact that we able as the game went on, as the life of the game went on, as Shark said, the running game began to open up. And that's the kind of pendulum that we need to have, but of course, with more balance. But they showed up when they need to show up.
Well, yeah, and you kind of just talked about the balance. It was really surprising, I think, for everybody, because normally when you go into a college football game, the general game plan is to try to establish the run. And heading into this game, I mean, I think everyone was just surprised that we put it all on Jaron-Keawe Sagapolutele. And man, that kid, he has got it, right? I mean, he put the entire team on his shoulders. I was surprised. I took a look at the halftime stats. At the half, he was 18 of 26 for 241 yards and a touchdown, including a beautiful 51-yard strike to Javon Plummer. I mean, man, this guy, he was just so impressive, I think. And that was part of the game plan that Brian Harsin and Nick Rolovich put together, was that in the first half, it was almost exclusively throwing the ball all over the field. And I think that took everybody by surprise. And then in the second half, the script flipped, right? We went completely the other way. And Sagapolutele was finished 24 of 38 for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. But that means that he only threw 12 more passes in that entire second half when we cranked up the running game.
Yep.
And he doesn't play favorites when it comes to throwing the ball. He completed passes to 9 different receivers. We do a great job of spreading that ball around all over the place and keeping a defense guessing.
It's a football picnic, baby.
Well, at one point, I believe he had 272 yards of passing and 28 yards of rushing. That was like in the beginning of the fourth quarter. I ran that stat on ESPN, and I was like, my goodness, I just love it. Balance is great if you're winning, or it doesn't ever happen. You gotta
Right.
win.
Right.
Whatever's working, do it. That's the key to life. Make it happen. Know what your tools are and utilize them. And we utilize our tools. I got to give it up for the old line, man. The D line also played their tails off. And one of the things I'm very proud of for our defensive line is that they can bring in two groups, not skip a beat. I even saw Curly Thomas in there for the first time, getting some serious reps. And Derek Wilkins was back. That was awesome to see. But to be honest, TJ Bowlers and Keon Heine, those two are studs inside the middle, and nobody can run on us. The Minnesota expected to push that pile, and we were holding that line of scrimmage like nobody else had done against them. So those guys did a wonderful job. I think Ryan McCullough, that kid's got a motor. He's got some bend to him. He can get around the corner. Very nice.
I'll tell you, a little bit last year, even more the year previous, like we talked about as the change of practice began, in the NCAA, how much time you had, how much equipment you're wearing, not working. It was shocking when people went to practice. You said, is this still spring ballish kind of? What are they doing? And it was a concern. Are you going to be able to tackle? Well, 2 years later, tackles are not an issue. There have been some real strong tackling. There was some, and really in some crucial moments, right? When you need folks to step up and step in to shut the offense down from not getting that momentum, because you could feel the mighty Gopher just trying to just get back and pop up and deroot us, if you will, when we needed to take full advantage. And I was excited. I mean, I saw some flashes of Minnesota. That 16-play drive was pretty amazing. At halftime to come down, what was it, 77 yards? I mean, that was a lot. That was a lot. And it made me just take a breath for a moment. But we played strong. I am convinced that this is the route in which we should be, the elevation, the trajectory, if you will, for getting us prepped for the game and the next game. And it gets better and better each time. I'm appreciating that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the other thing I was surprised, but just kind of add on to what you were saying there, Ahmad, is that there were points in this game where it felt like it could go the other way. They controlled the ball. They held on to the ball for nearly 34 minutes, right?
Right.
So they definitely won that time of possession. And between the second and third quarters in particular, they held the ball for nearly 21 minutes. And it looked like they were going to just wear down our defense because they just kept on running the ball and they're just such a physical team, right? But we rose to the challenges, especially without Cade Uluave out there. I mean, man, that was really nice to see. We scored the final 17 points of the game and held them scoreless after they took a 14-10 lead with 4:36 left to play in the third quarter. And that was the end of that. And it was such a satisfying victory. You guys were talking a little about the defense, and man, I just got to say, I continue to be so impressed with Luke Farrelly. I mean, this kid at linebacker. And, during the press conference last night, it was awesome. They had both Farrelly and Uluave out there together. And they talked about how when Jackson Sermon asking him if, they saw a little of Sermon in Uluave as a freshman. And he said, yeah, he could totally see it. And it was kind of like a passing of the torch almost, where Uluave is saying, yeah, Farrelly just has got it. He flies around out there, makes all kinds of plays. So Farrelly ended with 11 tackles, and Cade, in only a half, had 9 tackles because he was just fit to be tied. He was saying, like, he's just stalking along the sideline. They had to take his helmet away from him, and he just, was so itching to get back into that game.
Right.
And so we held them. They made an emphasis on running the ball. They only ran for 130 yards. And I mean, yeah, that's still a good number of yards, but we really shut them down when you take a look at it. And some incredibly hard hits, too, by Crosby. I mean, man, these guys come to play. Crosby ended up with 6 tackles, 2 pass breakups. As a team, we had 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hurries, 7 pass breakups. And I got to talk about Masses. I mean, man, Masses picks passes. This is the third game he's ended up with an interception.
Yeah.
So he's like taking on the role that Noel Williams had for us last year, just being this ball hawk out there. And it's just great to see. I mean, he's setting himself up for being the next great defensive back to move on to the NFL from Cal, right? DBU. Oh, and I got to say a couple other things that Wilcox pointed out during the press conference. He really wanted to mention that Harrison Taggart and Aaron Hampton made some great plays out there at linebacker, stepping in for Cade while he was out. And Hampton in particular blew up this trick play. It was supposed to be a double pass. And man, he sacked the guy for a 9-yard loss and just blew up that play beautifully, because that, may very well have gone for a touchdown. So that was
And Luke had 11 tackles, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about those two. I wanted to talk about Taggart and I wanted to talk about Hampton, because one of the things that I saw was when you typically exchange players from the ones and the twos, Cade Olave is one of the top players in the country. But what you saw out of Taggart and Aaron Hampton was a downhill mentality of getting after the ball. So a hesitant player, a second or third teamer, doesn't make that play because he's not attacking downhill. He's just trying to figure out his space and protect it. But when Aaron Hampton did was go downhill. He did the same thing the last couple of games when he got in. He can come downhill and go get the ball. Same thing with Taggart. Taggart made a lot of plays inside. A lot of the stopping of the run for the first and second quarters. Those two guys were doing a great job inside there. Luke Frelly is already playing like a veteran, but those two other guys are playing really well. And so to get Cade back, it was great.
Well, that goes back to what I talked about in the beginning, when we were going through the portal and everybody going through the portal, it is being able to really connect with who you have on the team, being able to coach people up, no matter how long they've been with you, really looking at what their skill sets are and looking at what that combination is when you have to put somebody in the game who's not been around to play a lot, but been around on the team or just joining the team. What is that going to take? It's going to take real coaching, and it's going to really take those individuals who are able to adapt. As you come in my life, I learned very quickly that failure isn't fatal, but hesitation can be. And so this whole downhill mentality is when I'm in the game, I'm locked in from the time I walk on that field to the time I anticipate my number being called to the time that ball is snapped. Then boom, I'm about the business, and that's better than coffee, baby black. That's straight up coming in the game, and that's what I'm talking about, Dave. Dave, that you hit it on the nose. We've been in that world, right? And they said your number's called. And we've seen people, literally kind of just move in place. Yeah, weebles wobble, don't fall down, but they'll knock you on your ass if you don't get in the game and make. They're going to come right back to you if you do not shut it down and say, "Welcome to the party."
That's right. You got to show them what you got. And I love that about him. And you know how you were talking about masses? That kid makes more plays reaching around. He's very slippery, and he reaches around. The pass interference in the end zone was ticky-tack. He made a great play. But you know what? I think sometimes, I don't know, referees have their own way of looking at things, but he makes plays, and he's always trying to make a play. And if he gets called for things like that because he's trying to make a play, I'm fine with him.
I'm with it
Doing
all
great.
day. Yep.
Our freshman Manitai got the fumble. And
The fumble.
So that kid, their returner, is a hell of a player.
Yes, he is.
That ball took a bounce that he thought he was going to be able to get the next bounce if it bounced just like, and boom, catch it in stride with a little bit of space and get up the field. But that thing took a terrible bounce to his ankle and left it out there in the open. And Manti running so fast, get down the field just to get the ball. That was fantastic. What a great play for that freshman.
That's why you play all the way through. That's why, people watch on, special teams, the kickoff teams and punt teams, and they watch these players run all the way through to the end zone, even after the play is over. Because that develops their mentality. That develops the discipline that you don't stop till it's stopped. And then there may be a last drop baby for you, and you got to soak that up. You got to suck that up. You got to take it all in. And that's what and you watched that. And those of us who played, and then you watch it in TV, watching film, it is like it's in slow motion. And I'm watching that ball, and I'm watching the ball, and and it was there. It was open. He was on it. It just sucked all the air out of me, literally, onto the field. Because you could see that there was some confusion. And you're right, that's a great returner back there. He's done some great things. But you could see all of a sudden that there was this concentration lapse on thinking about, I got to get the ball, and almost like looking for where he was going to go or what he was going to do versus protecting the ball right now.
Yeah, but that was probably the biggest play of the game, talking about a momentum shift when that fumble happened, because we recovered the ball on the Minnesota 8 and were able to score and cash in with a touchdown. I mean, that made it super easy at that point. But that poor returner, I mean, boy, he had a couple of gaffes in the game. I think he was the one who got blown up by Hampton for on that trick play. So he got a 9-yard sack. He decided to fair catch the punt on the 3-yard line in the first quarter, but everyone was like, oh, so he just had a miserable game, unfortunately. But I got to give a shout out to our special teams, because that is no question now a real strength of this team. And you saw 2 more field goals made, and a 45-yarder by Abram Murray and a 38-yarder late in the game to close out the scoring by Chase Meyer, We're now 6 of 6 on field goals for the season. And our punt coverage and kickoff coverage is just doing exceptionally well. And Michael Kern, that punter, had himself a day. He punted the ball 5 times for an average of 47 yards, constantly pinning him back with 3 of those punts down inside the 20. So, I mean, hats off to the special teams unit. You guys are doing fantastic. And like Wilcox said at the very start of the press conference, was that it was a complete team victory. And it was just so satisfying as a Cal fan to see that.
You know what was great about the punting? Our punter had 2 inside the 5.
Yeah.
And 3 inside the 20, but 2 inside the 5, and they were
Right.
fantastic. They were like back spinning chip shots to the hole.
Craziness.
Did a
Yeah.
wonderful job with that. He's done a great job. I want to take one step back. After that fumble, how open was Jaron-Keawe when he caught that touchdown, right? There wasn't anybody within the same area code as him.
No.
But beyond that, I want to give a shout out to Jaron-Keawe because he's a 3rd, 4th year player, walk on, came to the team and just
Yeah.
has battled and I love the fact that hard work still pays off.
Yes,
And
sir.
I want to reiterate that to a lot of our fans and a lot of our young football players out there. Fundamentals and hard work and attitude goes a long way. I can't say much of the guys that had left Cal after last year, especially on offense, but I'm pretty sure a few of them kick themselves and want to be on this offense. So a lot of it just takes it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes football IQ as it's rolled into your fundamentals.
Look here, you're exactly right, Jark. The old term used to be, and still some places, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, the turf seems greener on the other side, whether it's got a rolling edge to the edge or it's straight flat. But the reality is somebody has to maintain that facilities, and we are maintaining the O-line, the D-line, receivers, quarterbacks. We are doing the maintenance that we need to do every step of the game. So from a Bear perspective, that was a smorgasbord of deliciousness for both the defense and the offense. And I'm still full. I'm still full. But ain't nobody going into hibernation here, baby. Get ready because the game is coming up soon. As my dad would always say, the night before, morning comes early, and Saturday's right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, what an electric night last night. 38,556 was the announced attendance. It was great to see. And Javid Best made a special appearance with his 4-year-old daughter. That was really nice to see. And we've been in touch, by the way, and he plans to be a guest on a future episode of Tell the Whole Damn World. So we're excited about that. He lives in the Oakland Hills, and we've been conversing and trying to figure out schedules. But Javid, of course, ran all over Minnesota the last time we played him way back. So that was really appropriate to have him be featured and brought out onto the field for everyone to celebrate his greatness. So that was pretty cool.
Javid is the nicest fast guy I've ever met. Fast guys seem to have a little bit of an edge to them and a little bit of an attitude. Javid does not have that. He doesn't need it. He just is the fastest, coolest dude I know.
He's a mellow fellow with intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guys, thank you so much. We got San Diego State and the Aztecs coming at us this next Saturday night.
I'm going to the game.
Oh, you are? Awesome. Yep. That's great. So hopefully we win that one as well, but we'll take them one at a time. I don't want to even look at the schedule ahead and start thinking about any of the other teams. I'm just going to take them one at a time, like Mike Pawlowski said way back in the 1991 season, where they made it so that you couldn't even see what the team was beyond the next week. That was it. That was your sole focus. So I love that.
Baby bear steps. Baby bear steps. That's what we're doing. We're not worried about, deal with what we have in front of it. Enjoy the moment, reset, get ready, and then we could talk about San Diego football and what that looks like.
Hey, I'm sorry, Ahmad. I love you and everything, but ain't no baby steps, man. This is a grizzly bear step. It's a golden bear step, man. We ain't taking little tiny steps. We're taking full steps. We're going forward, and we're gonna march on, go down the Aztecs, and go take care of business.
Wow, that sounds like a shark. I felt like the meal just then. Good Lord.
No offense, I ain't got time for no mini steps, mini baby steps, cubby steps. Nah,
Little Bruin steps.
All of a sudden, the 65-year-old guy felt like the 18-year-old I was starting for Cal, 19-year-old I was, 5'9.5" and 172 pounds, trying to get out of the field. All of a sudden, you sound like Ron Hill when he was the linebacker. He said to me, Ahmad, why are you standing up here in front? You're supposed to be in back of the huddle. I said, because I can't hear and I can't see. So you took me back. I got goose pimples now.
Speaking of that, I saw Ron at our annual players golf tournament this last Friday, and I want to give a special shout out to Rob Bimson, who's been the catalyst for corralling all them wayward bears rolling around and getting out there on the Tilden golf course. That was fantastic. Thank you, Rob. Great time was had by all.
He's an amazing guy. I love him. That's like another little brother of mine. He knows I don't get my schedule such to be able to play, but he stays in contact, and I always like giving because he gives to a very special moment of bringing us all together to continue to build relationships and show their love for Cal football and the University of California, Berkeley.
All right, gentlemen. Well, hey, thank you guys so much. Shark, Ahmad, we appreciate it so much. It was great fun as always. We look forward to talking to you some more next week, and that's going to do it for this week's football recap episode. We hope you enjoyed hearing us talk all about the game, and we look forward to spending time with you again next week after we take on San Diego State Aztecs. I know a lot of Cal fans are going to be there, so it should be a good one. Thanks so much for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate all of you out there listening and watching. This podcast is entirely a labor of love and a reflection of how much we love our university. Please help us grow this podcast by telling the whole damn world about us. As I noted at the top of the show, you can tell all your Cal friends to go to tellthewholedamnworld.com. We celebrate all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about the University of California. Do you feel Cal is the center of the universe? Do you bleed blue and gold? We want you to tell the whole damn world about it. Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Go Bears!